Hi, my name is Bente, I'm the Norse Witch, and we have gathered here to potentially witness me roasting myself. I have decided, since I'm feeling pretty burned out, that I need some kind of low energy video to film, to be quite honest. Let's just be honest. So yeah, I'm quite burned out, so I needed a low energy video to film, and what is lower energy to film than a reaction video? And I have decided to actually steal Chaotic Witch Aunt's idea. They have been revisiting a lot of their basics videos, and I thought I have one video, and that has been throughout my YouTube life, has been the video that has done best on my channel, and that is my deity work video. But it has also been one of the earliest videos that I have ever filmed. It's been nearly 2 years now, and I feel like my practice, especially my deity work practice, has changed a lot. So it could be very, very interesting to take a look at this video, cringe a lot, and then see what I'm doing differently than I have done previously, because I personally really want to keep the info on my channel updated. This has originally been Chaotic Witch Aunt's idea, at least I haven't seen anyone else do this kind of video. So I am pretty sure that everyone who watches this channel probably knows them. If you don't know them, have you been living under a rock? But doesn't matter. If you don't know them, go visit their channel and their podcast and their TikTok and Instagram and everything, because they're amazing. So shout out to Chaotic Witch Aunt for this video idea. But now, let's go, shall we? This will be incredibly awkward because, as I said, this was one of the first videos that I ever filmed. So my English is probably very bad. I'm afraid. Let's go. Okay, I'm lighting candles. I'm very freshly addicted to scented candles. So you will have to endure that in every coming video. And I would have already clicked off because of that. Hi, my name is Bente, I'm the Norse Witch, and today's topic is deity work. More specifically... Interesting! My pronunciation of deity has changed. Back then I said deity, why am I saying deity now? I don't know, what's wrong, deity or deity? Where to start out with deity work. Oh, the old intro! That's so cute. So me, as a Norse pagan, I'm actively working with deities pretty often, which is very funny because when I started out on my journey, I wasn't into deity work at all. I wasn't working with any deities, I didn't even believe in deities that much. Can we please acknowledge how bad my cutting skills were and how awkward I was? And I was basically, I was talking in one tone all the time, and I seemed completely unbothered and as if I didn't really want to film this video. Ugh. But yeah, now here I am, that's where I ended up as a Norse pagan working with lots of deities, and I love it. So of course I was very excited when this video topic was requested by some of you guys. So one thing that was specifically requested that I should talk about was, how do I contact deities? How can I talk to them? But before I get into that, I want to quickly say some other things about deity work that I think are important. So one thing is that you should see the relationship to a deity the same way as you see a relationship to another human being. Okay, I actually still see it that way, so okay, off to a good start. There are people that you like and that you want to get in contact with and that you want to have a relationship with, and there are people that you don't really want to have a relationship with, that you don't really like. True. And that will be the same thing with deities. There will be deities that you are very interested in and that you want to work with, and there will be some that you're not interested in and that you don't want to work with. True. And it's also the same way the other way around. It's very possible that you are interested in a deity and it turns out this deity does not want to work with you. Then you just have to accept that. It's just the same as it is with other human beings. You can't expect anyone, you can't expect any human being, and you can't expect any other entity to be interested in working with you or having a relationship with you.
Okay, that is actually very true. I still feel that way. I have actually been recently rejected by a deity. Not really rejected, but the deity basically said, we're going until this point, but not further than that. So now I can actually relate to that.
So if that's the case for you, you contact a deity and this deity does not want to work with you, then just please don't be sad. Another thing
You
that
will
I
be
think
sad,
is
probably.
very important to note is that you should just go through the world with open eyes. Because it's very possible that a deity is maybe already reaching out to you and sending you signs. But
Yeah.
you just go through the world with your eyes only on your phone, so
True.
you don't recognize the signs. That is very possible. The more you go through the world with open eyes and the more you try to perceive everything, the more open you will be to signs from deities.
I'm talking about it as if it would work for me. But honestly, I'm so blind to signs. It's incredible. I'm very blind to signs, or I just don't receive that many signs. I honestly nowadays think that the whole thing with signs and everyone is receiving signs from deity, I feel like it's a little bit overrated. I actually feel like it happens much less often than we would like it to. And yeah, I feel like we probably interpret a lot of things as signs that probably aren't. But that's just my opinion, of course.
But that's where we come to the third thing that I want to tell you. It is that you don't have to wait for signs from deities. Most of the times when we hear people talk about deity work, it starts out with something like,
and then I saw the sign. And then this crazy thing happened.
What's that editing? Oh my.
But that's not how it works.
I think back then I still tried to be funny, and since then I have realized that I'm just not that funny and I should not try to edit my videos in a funny way because that just won't work.
All of the times. It's very possible that you are very interested in working with a deity and they have not reached out to you. That's very possible. And you don't have to wait for them to reach out because it's very possible that that does never happen.
Mm-hmm.
You can just actively reach out by yourself. That's completely okay. Another thing I want to note is that deity work is not the same as worshipping a deity. Worshipping a deity and actively working with a deity is, for me personally, a very different thing. Because worshipping a deity, as beautiful as it is a unidirectional relationship. You do something for the deity. You give them offerings. You pray to them. But that does not mean that that deity will do anything for you in return. While working with a deity actively, having a working relationship with them is a bidirectional relationship. You do something for them and they do something for you.
Okay, I actually don't really care that much about the differentiation between work and worship anymore. Meh, potato, potato. I think the two can overlap a lot. I've recently seen a TikTok actually about deity work and worship in Hellenic practices, and that actually what a lot of people see as deity work would be considered worship. And I guess that's the case for a lot of practices and traditions. I feel like they overlap a lot, and I feel like, do we really need two words for that? Or if you also see veneration as a third thing, do you really need three different things for that? Even if you think you're worshipping a deity or only and not working with them, do you know if they're like in the background doing things for you? You don't know. So it's possible that every worship practice is also a work practice. We just don't realize it. So nowadays, I don't really feel like we need the differentiation between worship and work, but meh.
That's a completely different thing. Both are great, but they're different. But still, I think that if you want to establish a working relationship with the deity, then starting out by just worshipping them is the best and easiest way. Okay, one last thing before I get into how to contact the deity. And that's probably the most important thing. I can't stress it enough, it's protection. Before you start
The protection topic. Back then, everyone was so eager about protection because of the evil trickster spirits.
Working with a deity, it's very, very important that you first learn how to protect yourself from any malicious entities or trickster entities. Because yes, there are awesome entities out there who want to work with you and they just want the best for you. But there are also entities out there that are tricksters or that are even malicious and they want to hurt you. So first of all, don't be afraid because they can't hurt you if you protect yourself properly. You just have to be aware of the fact that there are malicious entities and that you should protect yourself from them. So,
Wow. Hello, Juno. Yeah. I'm not that all about protection anymore, to be honest. I have worked with spirits and deities for quite some years now, and I have experienced one entity pretending to be someone else once, and that was Loki pretending to be Odin. But I have never experienced a malicious entity pretending to be a deity, for example. I don't want to say that that doesn't happen, but I feel like it happens so rarely because I personally have never heard of someone actually having that experience. At least I don't know anyone personally who has had this experience. So I feel like if you want to make sure, then sure, do protection. But like how many pagans are there that don't cast a circle of protection before calling in a deity? If I just give an offering or something, I don't do anything for protection. And whenever I want to communicate, then I just vet the entity that I'm talking to, and then it's fine. I very, very rarely cast circles anymore before I do any deity communication because, yeah, it's just experience. I mean, it's possible that something bad happens at some point, but it hasn't yet, so I don't know. I'm just not that hardcore about it anymore as I was back then, apparently. I'm sorry, I got cut off by my camera. Where did we leave? Oh yeah. Deity work is an advanced practice. Deity work is not an advanced practice. It's not. Like, we should stop to pretend like deity work is an advanced practice. It's actually not. It's actually pretty simple. Especially if you start with worship, even more simple. Again, how many pagans do it without having any magical experience, without any protection measures, and nothing bad is happening to them? So it's not that advanced. Like, no, it's not.
And protection magic is a very basic thing that you should know before you start out working with deities. And which kind of protection is best? That highly depends on the way that you contact the deity.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I have rambled enough now.
But I'm not giving any examples? Well, great.
Let me give you some examples about how you can get in contact with deities.
Great, let's finally start with the actual content of the video after 6 of 14 minutes. Wow.
So, how can you contact deities? One way, for example, is by using divination methods.
True.
I think the easiest method is using a pendulum because it's so versatile, you can do a lot of things with it. The easiest way would be to just write out the questions that you have for a deity and to just use the pendulum to get yes or no questions. That's very
true,
easy.
It's very easy.
But you can not only use...
But not everyone can work with a pendulum. I have heard of people who really struggle with working with pendulums for some reason. So just because you can't do it, that doesn't mean that you're a noob or something. Just because I feel like it's easy doesn't mean it's easy for everyone. But yeah, I personally feel like it's pretty basic because, for example, you don't have to interpret tarot cards as yes or no answers, which can be a little bit tricky at some point.
A pendulum, you can also use maybe your tarot cards if you're an avid tarot reader.
Yep.
Or your runes.
Yep.
Lenormand. You can use a lot of divination methods. Yeah, that's really fun.
I feel like Lenormand could be a little bit tricky, but yeah, you can do it.
Another way you can contact deities is by using automatic writing. Maybe you have already watched my video about how I dedicated myself to Odin. In that video I I mentioned that I am using automatic writing a lot.
I'm actually not using automatic writing anymore because I feel like it's fucking hard. I'm not good at it. I'm pretty good at just like, it depends on how you do automatic writing. Like if you feel like it's only automatic writing when the entity is actually moving your hand, then I can't do it. The thing that I can do is writing out my questions, asking them, and then intuitively knowing the answer and writing it down. But actually automatic writing by basically channeling them and then them using my hand to write, I'm not that good at that, so I just don't really use it anymore.
But to explain it a little bit, automatic writing is just going into a light trance state and then contacting an entity. So in this example, it would be contacting a deity, and to like channel their answers through yourself. And to write their answers down. So you would go into a trance state, contact the deity, ask them questions, and then write out their answers. It could be that you are hearing their answers. It's possible that you just instinctively know their answers. It's possible
and that's
that
what
you
I did.
see their answers. But it's also possible that the entity is actually using your hand to write. So you are not actively writing, the entity is writing with your hand.
It's interesting how easy it sounds, but it's actually very hard. Because, yeah, I'm basically explaining what you're doing, but how do you actually establish this connection to the deity and go into the trance state? And how do you channel them? Sounds easy, isn't easy.
So that's also a very fun way, because you can get very long answers with a pendulum and only yes
That's
or
very
no
true.
answers.
I have gotten probably some of the most elaborate answers through automatic writing, so maybe I should start doing it. I don't know.
It's harder to get more advanced answers, but automatic writing can be more challenging because a lot of people in the beginning have a lot of doubts about their deity work and a lot of doubts about if they're actually talking to a deity or if they're talking to themselves. So automatic writing can be challenging in that aspect, that you're doubting more what you are getting as answers. And
that's very, very true. Kind of being able to distinguish between what's your imagination and what you're actually channeling is very, very hard. And actually getting to a point where you trust your own intuition and your psychic abilities, that is very hard. And I get a lot of questions about that, but the thing is, it's just experience. Once you have gotten some answers that you actually don't want, because they're not what you wanted to hear, then you kind of start realizing that, I'm probably actually channeling them, because why would I imagine an answer that I don't want to hear?
the thing that you can do is something that will be easier for some people, and for some people it will be very hard. And that's using your psychic senses to get answers. There are some people that...
And by the way, it's psychic senses and not psychic. But yes, agreed, it is hard. And it's actually very hard to realize what your psychic gifts are. Like, some people are better with some psychic senses than with others. Like, some people are clairaudient, while other people are clairsentient, and some people are clairvoyant. That's the word that I was missing. So finding out which of them works best for you and how to apply that is probably the hardest thing.
Are very gifted with clairaudience or clairvoyance, clairsentience, whatever.
Claire, not
for
clear.
Those people, it will probably be very easy to contact deities. Because, for example, as a clairaudient person, you can just ask the deity something and you will actually hear them answer. Or as a clairvoyant.
I am so jealous of people who can do that. I'm so jealous of clairaudient people, because I feel like deity work and spirit work and stuff will be so easy for them. I have some things that work for me well, but for example, I'm pretty clairsentient, but that isn't that well applicable to deity work and spirit work. So I wish I was clairaudient. That would be so convenient.
In person, you can ask questions and you will see the answer. But of course, not everyone is very gifted in that aspect. So that won't be the possibility for everyone. But one thing that everyone can do to contact deities is using meditation for contacting deities. And there are so many specific ways you can do that. You can do guided meditations. There are lots of guided meditations out there. You could...
Fun fact, I'm now actually making guided meditations for my patrons. Every single month they get a guided meditation. A lot of them are like to get in contact with spirit guides, your ancestors, deities, spirits and stuff. So if you're interested in trying that, then maybe have a look at my Patreon.
Use shamanic journeying if you're into that and you're skilled in that.
Why did I mention that as under the topic of meditation? Because I feel like that's two completely different things. Like a guided meditation and spirit flight is very different. But actually spirit flight, for me personally, spirit flight is the most effective way to get in contact with spirits and entities. Because you can have a proper conversation with them. But yeah, not everyone is into that.
You can visit your own place of power to contact deities. That's a thing that I really love to do. Yeah, there are just very many ways you can use meditation to contact deities. Another thing you can do is to just ask your deities for a specific sign. So you have a question for them and their answer would be something specific to happen. So that way, when this specific thing does happen, you know that their answer is positive. That's also a way you can get your doubts out of the way a little bit, but that only works if you choose the specific thing that should happen as a sign very wisely. Because if you choose something that happens very often either way, then you will never know if it's a sign or not.
Signs are so hard, so I never do that. You can. I never do that because I am personally so blind to signs. They're so hard to interpret.
Another fun way that you can contact deities is during your dreams. There are a lot of people that like to use dream work in their magic, and you can also do that for deity work. So maybe if you are skilled at lucid dreaming, then you could contact a deity in your lucid dreams. But you can also just ask your deities for signs before you go to sleep, or you can actually also ask them to contact you while you are sleeping and dreaming.
Fun fact, something else I'm so incompetent at. I actually filmed a video on it. I have created a spell bag, a spell sachet to keep under my pillow to finally remember my dreams, because I never remembered my dreams. And now I finally do remember my dreams, probably like 4 or 5 times a week. So for me, that's a lot. But it's very mundane things that I dream of. I have never been able to successfully contact any spirits or entities during my dreams. I have gotten what I think could be some kind of sign once, but not from the deities that I personally have a relationship with. So,
And then you just have to write your dreams down in the morning and interpret them. So these
as if that was so easy.
were some examples of how you can contact deities. But back to the topic of protection.
I'm confused. Why do I talk about protection? Then I get into how to contact the deities, and then after that I talk about protection again. That does not make single sense. Okay.
If you want to go down any of these routes, how can you protect yourself from malicious entities?
Okay,
And
now
how
it gets
can you know
interesting.
that the entity that you're contacting is actually the deity that you intended to contact. So in my opinion, the easiest way would be to cast a circle before you try out any of these things, and to just invite the one deity into the circle that you want to contact.
Yeah, I mean, that's not wrong. I don't really do that, but if you are maybe a beginner and you have a little bit like doubts about everything and you want to really make sure that the entity you're contacting is the entity that you intended to contact, then sure, that's a good way.
That way you will make sure that whatever entity is answering would be the one deity that you invited into the circle. Because no other entity can be inside your magic circle, because you only invited that one deity. So that way you can just make...
Of course, that means that you have to be skilled at banishing everyone and then casting a proper working circle. and then calling them in. So you have to be skilled at that before trying that.
Make sure that this entity is the deity that you intended to contact. But if you are contacting a deity within your place of power or during a shamanic journey, you can also choose another way. And that would be to ask the entity that you are now talking to send you a feeling of perfect love and perfect trust.
Ooh. Hardcore cringe. Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say that that does never work, but is it that reliable? I don't know. I think vetting a deity is probably much more reliable than that. Yeah, you could argue that maybe a malicious entity can't send you a feeling of perfect love and perfect trust. Depends on what you believe in, right? It's possible that that's not true. I don't know. So yeah, as you might have guessed, I don't do that anymore. I just vet my deities. I just ask them very, very specific questions about them. Things that maybe aren't that well known about those deities or spirits. And if they respond to every question truthfully and correctly, then that's fine.
Because malicious entities cannot send you that type of energy, this energy of perfect love and perfect trust. They can't. So you can just...
They can't, period. And that is truth, because why? Is that a universal law? I don't know.
Just ask the entity to send you this feeling of perfect love and perfect trust. And if you feel that, you feel this completely all-encompassing, perfect, positive energy, then you can be sure that it's the deity that you contacted. And as soon as you know that, you can ask them.
For some reason, nowadays, that has... I don't know why, but it kind of gives me the ick a little bit. And I don't know why, but this feeling of perfect love and perfect trust, I don't know, that just kind of... I can't explain it. But it just gives me the ick.
For some kind of token with which you can recognize each other. It could be, I don't know, a crystal, a necklace, a little statue of something, anything. You just ask them for some kind of token with which you can recognize them, so that each time you contact them in your place of power or within a shamanic journey, you will ask them for this token and they will show you this token. And if it's the same token that they showed you the first time, then you will be sure that it's the deity that you wanted to contact.
Yeah, I would still agree with that. I still think that that works.
I did that with some entities, also with one of my spirit guides, and that works very well.
With which spirit guide did I do that? And what was the token? I can actually only remember one token, and that is very interesting because I have this token physically. But I actually don't remember. I love my bad memory.
So that's where we get to the end of this video.
End of this video. Well, that was interesting. That was a little bit cringe. Yeah, I mean, I guess the info is like 50-50 now. I agree with some things still, and with some I don't. Like all of the ways to contact a deity, I still agree with, like tarot, runes, pendulum, dreams, signs, meditations, whatever. I still agree with that, but a lot of the surrounding info I don't agree with anymore. It's not an advanced practice. You don't need to hyperfixate on protection measures. There aren't malicious entities and trickster spirits around everywhere and out for you, hiding and pretending to be deities. And I don't know about this thing with the perfect love and perfect trust. I don't know, it's kind of gives me the ick. But well, tell me what you think, honestly, about this old video. Before I end this video, as always, of course, a patron shout out. Thank you so much to Liz, Bastecha, Lisa, Sigrun, Ashley, Erica, Sturfield Stars, Mars Mortis, Christine, Christopher, Glacier, August, The Court Jester, Fabienne, Jella, JB, Tim, Anna, Laura, Amber, Kristen, John, Ivy, Phoenix, Anton, Noemi, Jenny, Tyler, Els, Maggie, Betty, Misty, Tiffany, Amy, Colette, Tell, Timothy, Coffee, the Honorary Gossip Squirrel, Bjorn, and Ash. Thank you so much. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you were entertained by me cringing at myself. If you did, make sure to subscribe and give a thumbs up. Of course, check out all my other socials. If you are interested in sustainably and ethically witchcraft and paganism tools, also a lot of deity work related tools, then check out my shop Sacred Sorcery. And if you maybe want to support my channel, then check out my Patreon. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!